What is going on YouTube? So coming back today with my next NBA draft scouting report. So today will be the second to last one, and I've been promising to do this one for a while, but I will be doing Diamond Stone. So he is a 6'11", 255-pound center out of the University of Maryland. He's got a 7'3" wingspan. He's from Milwaukee. So get into his strengths. So first one is his size and his strength. So you're talking about a guy that's already over 250 pounds, only at 19 years old. He's just got a big frame. Again, a lot of problems you run into with bigs that you draft pretty high, at least in today's NBA. They don't have the frame that you already have, or the frame that you want, I guess, your NBA bigs to have. And when you're talking about guys like, trying to run through, so there's a couple international ones that kind of have that problem: Dragan Bender, Thon Maker, Joe Key, and there's just a couple of the international guys. But anyway, Stone definitely has the strength you want. With a 7'3" wingspan, he's got a good measurables for his wingspan, and at 6'11", he's not lacking in height either. So, which kind of helps him out with his second strength, which is blocking and rebounding. So he's able to get good positioning on his guy inside the paint. Obviously, the strength helps out with that. He averaged close to, actually, I think it was around 3.5 blocks per 40 minutes, along with about 10 rebounds per 40 minutes as well. He gets after the boards equally hard on the offensive and defensive ends of the floor. He's got the ability to be a pretty good rim protector when it comes to the NBA, and he's also got the ability to be a double-double player when it comes to the NBA, including rebounding. So, next strength is his interior scoring. So, one of the strongest parts of his game is his post-up ability, his back-to-the-basket finishing ability. He is a very good interior scorer, kind of an old-school type player down low. One strength that I'm not going to get into huge, but that is very important for him, since he does draw contact down low a lot. He is a pretty good free throw shooter at 75%, which is a very welcome attribute for any team that drafts him. You're also talking about a guy that shoots 56 or 57% from the field, obviously. Most of that's just right at the basket, so it's an okay number. He averaged 12.4 points per game as well. Again, only played 22.8 minutes per game. Wasn't foul trouble, it was more conditioning. I'll get into that later. But again, he's, I wouldn't say elite interior scoring ability, but when you're talking about interior scoring ability, one of the best bigs in this draft. He's got, I'd say the strongest moves in his arsenal are just his, I would just say his floaters, one-handed hook is probably his best. His best post move. He's got a decent spin move, but he's just the type of guy that's going to be able to bully you in the paint. He's fluid and athletic, moves well for how big he is also, which helps him get down low in transition. He's got good hands as well, so he can get, when he can get above the rim, he can catch lobs, alley-oops, that sort of thing. So, get into some of his weaknesses. First one is his overall stamina. Conditioning is a problem. It was a problem for him at Maryland. Conditioning and consistency are his two biggest weaknesses. Again, at 255 pounds, while he is fluid and athletic, he's not, I wouldn't say he's in the best shape. He was not at Maryland. He needs to improve that heading into the NBA. I don't know if that means dropping some weight. He's been between 245 and 260 really ever since he was in high school. And again, I think while 250, 255 is a desired size for his style of play, if he wants to play starting minutes, obviously that's something that's going to have to get fixed before he starts running at an NBA level. So next weakness is his vertical and his motor. So it seems like he takes plays off on defense. I think this comes back to the whole conditioning thing. I don't know if it's just his overall effort, if he just didn't feel like giving 100% all the time. I don't think it's that. He seems like a pretty intense player, at least on the offensive end of the floor. But I feel like his vertical, not good, about 29 inches. With a standing reach of 9'1", you really don't need an extreme vertical, but a good vertical helps. When you're talking about some of the more athletic rim protectors in the NBA nowadays, DeAndre Jordan, Andre Drummond, even DeMarcus Cousins to some degree. He's not a great rim protector, but he can get his blocks. Al Jefferson, those types. These are guys with a little bit better verticals. So I think if he can get his motor up, I think that if he can get his stamina up to par, then the motor will come with it. That's what I was trying to say. And yeah, I think that's something that he's got to get straightened out. If he can be able to consistently, I guess, show effort for, say, more than 25 minutes a game, and that'd take us go a long way to show that he's taking steps in the right direction to be able to round out that part of his game, because on the offensive and defensive end of the floor, he's got all the tools he needs to be able to be a successful big in the NBA. So next weakness is his offensive consistency. So while he is polished as an interior scorer, his face-up game I feel like is something he's still trying to improve on. Not a great mid-range shooter. He's okay. He's by no means going to stretch you out to the three-point line. I don't even think he took a single three-point attempt while he was at Maryland. But he's also not, I guess, he's I don't really know how to describe it, besides he's just not a very polished player. He's not polished. He's not a very consistent player when it comes to being able to be a consistent scoring threat down low. I feel like he doesn't adjust well to teams being able to double him. Again, it just comes back to offensive being able to, I think, be able to give a consistent 25 minutes of effort. And really, if he can do that, I think he'll be able to focus on all the in-game adjustments and all the awareness you need to be a successful big at any level. So last weakness is his defensive polish, and I think more than anything, this just is his ability to stay, I wouldn't say less aggressive. He didn't really run into foul trouble that much, but I'd say doing things like staying on his man, not losing assignments, off-ball awareness. Those seem to be his biggest problem, and also taking plays off. I mentioned that earlier though. I'd say the two biggest weaknesses are his stamina, and then also his motor. I think if those get ironed out, then the offensive consistency will come along. The defensive fundamentals are just something that are probably going to come along with given time in the NBA. All right, so talk about where I think his best fits are in the NBA, where I think he'll get drafted, that sort of deal. He's been up and down in his draft stock ever since the NBA season ended, or the college season ended. The last NBA Draft.net mock draft, I believe, had him, I don't know if it was dropped all the way to the second round. I don't think it was that far. Most of the time I've been seeing him float around the mid-20s, but yeah, they have him going to number 22 to the Charlotte Hornets, so didn't drop out of the first round. There's a few that have him dropping to the second round. Most big boards have him around 30 to 35. Because this is a rather, I'd say, middle-heavy draft for bigs. It's honestly a pretty good draft for the power forward center position. And to be honest, bigs like Diamond Stone aren't really the new generation style of big when you're talking about being able to stretch the floor, run in transition, shoot threes, and while also being able to protect the rim. Obviously, those are a rarity, but those are also just kind of fitting with how the NBA style is played now, with better outside shooting, faster play, higher scores. So where I think he's going to go, I think he falls 25 to 30. Early second at the absolute latest, but I do think he'll get scooped up before the end of the first round. It's hard to find a guy like him in the NBA nowadays. If you need post-up scoring, then he's one of the best options in this draft. In my personal opinion, I think he should go to a team that won't rely on him, obviously, to play heavy minutes coming out. That's probably one of the most important things. When you're talking about best fits, I think you're talking about teams like the Phoenix Suns, if they are able to draft another center, maybe split the time between the two, and then also I don't know about the fit with the Hornets, but another team that I do like is the Atlanta Hawks. If they do end up losing Al Horford, he'd be able to slide into a rotation with Paul Millsap, or maybe start, but again, he'd have another big down low to take the pressure off of him a little bit, and hopefully make that transition for him a little bit smoother. Talking about stat projections for him, it's hard to come up with because this is a guy in college that averaged about 12 and 5. Through 40-minute averages, averaging about, I'd say, 23 and 10. So he can put up solid numbers. I'd say if he plays around 15-20 minutes, which is probably the playing time he's looking at for his rookie year. Like I said, this probably is not going to be a guy that's just going to make some unreal transition to playing 30-35 minutes a game in the NBA his rookie year, unless he really does, I guess, slim down a little bit or just get in fantastic shape over the offseason. Again, not unheard of, but probably not something that's just going to happen over one offseason. Again, this kid's only 19 years old. He'll turn 20 during, I believe, right before the next season. I have to look back at that. Yeah, I think he will turn 20 during the next season. So, again, a young kid, and a kid that's going to need a little bit of time to get, I think, a little bit adjusted to really bringing that NBA level motor to whatever team he gets drafted by. All right, but if I could give my stat projections, I would say you're looking at 6.6 rebounds, probably that sort of stat line, maybe 1 block. Again, per 40 minutes, he was averaging about 3.5 blocks per game, so he's a guy that can be a good rim protector in the NBA. Can't take that away from him. All right, so that pretty much does it. I will have one more scouting report coming up. I said that I would do Paul Zipser, but I completely forgot about Ivica Zubac. I decided I'm probably going to do Ivica Zubac instead. He's a little bit more intriguing prospect. I'm not even 100% sure if Zipser is going to be drafted this year. Might end up being drafted 2017. And again, Zubac is a guy that's an intriguing big in this draft. Not heavily heard of name, but kind of fits into that role of I'd say like Joe Key, Ante Zizic types that no one's really heard a lot about, but actually do have some intriguing qualities to fill pretty massive upsides, again, that not a lot of people know about. So that pretty much does it for this video. If you did not see my, I believe it was Gary Payton scouting report yesterday, then go check that out. The link will be in the outro, and the link to the entire playlist in the description below. That's pretty much it. That's the NBA draft scouting report. Second one of today, and that will be Gary Payton in a second. So I did say I was going to be doing Diamond Stone today. Decided to change that up. Wanted to go with a little bit different player. So going to do GP2. He is a 6'3",